Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome back to ACCA's Fireside Chat. आज का शो हमारा काफ़ी एक्साइटिंग है बिकॉज हमारे साथ पाकिस्तान के एक बेहतरीन एंटरप्रेन्योर, एक इनोवेटर और एक क्रिएटिव थिंकर मौजूद हैं जिनका नाम फहद महमूद है. ही इज़ द फाउंडर एंड CEO ऑफ ग्लैम्प पाकिस्तान. Assalamualaikum Fahad, how are you?
Welcome, Fahad. How are you doing?
कैसे हैं आप?
Alhamdulillah.
ठीक ठाक हैं. Thank you so much for taking time out
My pleasure.
and coming to our office.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you for having me.
Great. So Fahad, you have a really exciting story and हम आपको specifically इसलिए cover करना चाहते थे because आपकी जो journey है that is very exciting and I think it's going to also be very appealing and I think a lot of our stakeholders are going to find it very interesting.
Life is journey, man.
Yep, that is very
and,
true.
One has to embark on it to move.
Exactly. फहद की जर्नी जो है वो हमारे लिए इसलिए एक्साइटिंग है बिकॉज फहद started off in Lahore. That's where he grew up and he's going to be telling us more about that. उसके बाद फहद corporate में आए. He worked in Karachi. उसके बाद he has worked in Islamabad. And then finally one day Fahad decided that he is not going to do a job anymore and he is going to follow his heart and his passion and his dreams. So here it is. Fahad से अब सुनते हैं. So Fahad, you grew up in Lahore.
Yep, I am a Androon Shahar Lahoria, as we say.
Lovely.
From the walled city.
Yeah.
From the heart of it.
Yeah.
Wazir Khan Ki Masjid. That is my, my ancestral home, and that's where our generations.
Did you grow up there?
Yeah, my first 12 years of my life.
Oh wow! And what was it like growing up in the walled city?
It was like now it looks like seems like a dream, man.
Yeah.
It was exactly the way we read about the history, and I was living in that. Mm-hmm. And maybe I was the last of that generation who saw that culture of the actual Lahore, which is now nowhere to be seen. So it was. I have less words to explain that because it was about heart. It was about that feeling and it was about that sense of life in it. Mm-hmm. For an example, that waking up early in the morning was not it was not mandatory, but it was exciting. Mm-hmm. And I used to look forward to it because humne subah utna and we are supposed to go to Bacha Mosque for our Fajr prayers, and after that go to Manto Park and play cricket. My father used to play cricket. My grandfather used to sit in that elderly chopal that we used to call, and to make where all the elderly people get together and have that social chat and everything. So half of the time with dad playing cricket with these crazy cricket lovers and very.
And I've still seen some videos of you playing cricket all the way into your Glamp site.
Yeah, as they say, chori se jaye par hera peri se na jaye. So I can't let go of things that I love.
You can't let go of street cricket.
Yeah. Street cricket is in our blood. So it used to be, Lahore used to be full of art, experience, morals, values. No matter where I went, the start of my journey actually happened with a BMX cycle that I got when I was in 6th grade. And that purple thing, when I got that, and I thought, now the world is mine. And I used to ride it up the walls, in the streets, in people's houses, and wherever I could, put my two-wheeler in. so
So
it's
Fahad,
all
I
about
mean,
that.
yeah, and Lahore specifically, I mean, Lahore हमारा एक hub है culture का, art का,
Yeah.
और since you grew up there, and especially अंदरून शहर, walled city में, I think that that has had a great influence on your life. I mean, because you're also an artist, you're a photographer, a very
Yeah.
talented photographer at
I'm
that.
just trying to do my bit, but yeah, art was very important part of our life because we had a lot of expression. Lahoris are known for their
Of course.
outwardness and the expression. So in my generation, in my era, when I was young, that was on that brink of getting fused with the newness of the world. So I had that, the history and the roots back at home, and I used to study at Mall Town. So it was a way of a contrast. The first half of my day and the second half of my day was like opposite worlds altogether. And the credit goes to my dad that how he thought about it, that living there and having the exposure on the other side of the city, which was the new city. So growing up with those boys of so-called like the modern side of the city, and having the roots at the older side, so that fusion still thrives in me, and that's the the root that I have, the strength that I have.
So Fahad, you're a great marketer as well, and that's where actually we know you from. Especially me, that's how it's not through what you're doing currently, but you were doing, so marketing has been your discipline, it has been your field. How did you get into marketing?
Marketing was, I think, my experience through the streets of Lahore, and the flavor I got from there, and all of those things were very. What would you say? They related towards that field, and because I started when I was in my school, I started theater. When I went to the college, I started event management on my own, and making experiences for people, designing weddings for people. At that time, nobody used to do that, and it was just us, making 2-3 boys and girls, and we used to. Design weddings, and I'm talking about way back in 97,
So
98.
that's how you built those inroads into the world of brand marketing and brand activation. That was your
experience management,
specialization,
actually.
in fact. Yeah.
So experience management was something that I was hooked on to, because I loved having new experiences. That was who I was. So somehow God channelized it for me in the corporate.
It's interesting how your story is to where you are now. Everything is kind of interlinked, and
I believe that God gives us a path, and one should recognize it and keep to it. Challenges come. There are things which happen to you and all that. But
so you started off working in Lahore, or
my first job ever was in Karachi.
Okay.
And that was the first time ever I went to Karachi, actually. So Karachi, a couple of years there. That was the start of my corporate journey.
And you were doing brand activations.
I was doing brand activations.
I remember some of the work that you actually done. In fact, one of the largest on-ground music platform, which was called URock back in the day, and I think you were involved with that as well, quite actively.
Yeah, and that was the platform which gave me the option from being on this side of the table to the other side of the table.
So from an agency to the
corporate
side
itself, yeah.
Okay. So from there to brand activation, and after that you've worked in two telcos, two of our telco giants. In fact, in three. In fact. Yeah. So you've actually worked at 3 of our main telcos in Pakistan in brand activation. So how was that for you?
It was a hell of an experience. It was a sail in a big ship is different. So the inertia is different. That movement, that sense of power behind you.
And I remember back in those days, youngsters की सबकी एक वो ख्वाहिश होती थी कि किसी तरह we should end up working in a big telco.
Yeah.
And kisi tarah we should end up working in a big telco's marketing department.
Marketing department,
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Because we were the spenders.
Yeah.
And we used to get the maximum experience out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I go back, I don't know, I'm a bad person to talk about maths and numbers, but I don't know how
You
much.
do realize this is ACCA's office.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And I have a word for you guys.
Okay. Okay, we'll come to that.
Yeah, we'll come to that.
I do believe, and we've had a lot of guests come in and they speak about, and they come from like all kinds of backgrounds, but I'm talking specifically about the people who have a finance background. उनको या आप नई जो startups देख रहे हैं आजकल जो startup culture है, you know, वहाँ पे I have noticed that a lot of people are excelling just because they have a very solid understanding of finance.
Agreed. I can't agree more than that. What you said, it's like the point. And I have faced a lot of troubles because of that. Because of not having that mental capacity to understand accounts.
I wouldn't say mental capacity.
I don't know, but my experience is not towards that. My
would be
understanding or my aptitude is not towards that. So that's why, thanks to you guys, that you create this this whole generation of these people who can help us out.
Yeah.
And we really want those people to help us out. And I think having to do everything yourself is not the right way to go about it. You need specialized people.
You worked at the top 3 telcos of Pakistan. I'm sure you must have had gained so much of experience and knowledge from there.
Yeah.
And so tell us more about all of that experience of the corporate sector.
Corporate was blingy. It was. It had all what you can ask for.
Life is great.
Life is
fun,
great. It's happening.
You're doing great things, great events.
You're making new things. You have big budgets at your back. You can think.
You're working with artists. You're working with musicians.
And everybody wants to be around you because you're the happening part of the
and
whole
everybody
thing.
sort of wants to be your friend because you're working in the marketing department, and that's where all the action is. These are
these were the perks there, and other than what you get in your bank account, these were more important perks that we were getting out of that.
You're always on your toes. Life is fun.
Life was fun. It was pacey. The youth was getting its energy, it was channelized. And
but don't you think you're fortunate that from that experience that you got a chance to work and interact with some of the most creative brains in this country, whether they be musicians, artists, any other talent, actors?
Yeah, definitely. I learned so much. I learned so much from my colleagues, from my bosses, and my everybody around me, my juniors, everybody. And I think without that experience, I would have not been who I am today. So, and it was something which actually taught me the other side.
In the corporate sector, Fahad, I think that इससे ज़्यादा वो कहते हैं ना कि वो glittery life. Corporate sector में मेरे ख्याल से नहीं हो सकती. But keeping all of that in mind, you had a great sort of career going on for you. You were working in marketing with big giants who have the budgets to go out there and spend. Even your social circle के अंदर भी आपके you're dealing with musicians, actors, artists. वो सारा कुछ छोड़ के एक दिन like that.
Yeah.
And you decided to move on.
Why? Yes.
Fahad.
Life is funny in that way. It you learn, you unlearn, and then you relearn. So that phase of my life came in front of me at that time. A couple of doors came in front of me. I had to choose one. One was that I do what I think, or I think what I do. So I opened the door that I'll do what I think.
Fahad, tell us what was going through your mind when you submitted your resignation that day when you got out of the corporate sector and you ventured out to pursue your dream. What was that day like? What was going through your mind? Well, did you think about this decision a lot? कि या वो एक जल्दी से एक कोई पैच आया था आपकी ज़िंदगी में? How did it all
I think
happen?
it was more of a build up, maybe a silent build up in me for years, that one day this is going to happen. But I never thought that it is going to happen right after I get married. So as people around me were saying, you've gone crazy, that what are you doing? You've spent your bachelorhood where people spend their married life in, and now you're doing the reverse and you're going the other way around. So I've always been a bit odd, so I didn't bother about that much, because again, what I said, that my faith was there, that you have to take a leap of faith to actually test yourself out.
When you were leaving, did you know at that point that you are going to end up on a mountain doing what you are doing right now? I mean, ये तो सोचना भी किसी के लिए कि जी मैं सब कुछ छोड़ के तो पहाड़ पे जा रहा हूँ, तो लोग तो कहेंगे कि यार
he's lost it.
He's lost it. हाँ, ये पहला ख्याल तो यही आता है कि यार इसको क्या हो गया यार, अच्छा खासा कॉर्पोरेट कलर का नौकरी सब कुछ, एंड छोड़ के मैं पहाड़ पे जा रहा हूँ.
Basically, my family, they have a big role to play in it, because they've seen me grow up in front of them, and my father especially, he understands me, and he's also my sort.
So your father is an engineer?
Yeah, my father is an engineer.
And a lecturer as well?
Yeah, he's been a teacher in Punjab University for a good 30 years.
Yeah, and he supported you with...
Yeah, he was the guy.
Yeah, so you went to him.
Yeah, I went to him.
मैं इस्तीफा दे के आ गया हूँ और अब मैं ये मेरा plan है that I'm going to follow my dream and I want to go and live in a mountain.
Yeah, basically we had this mutual understanding of what corporate life can be and what life can be. So I asked him if I can pursue my life rather than my corporate life. And he was of the opinion,
that you should pursue your life.
And that's more important.
So Glamp Pakistan, Fahad.
Yeah.
We've spoken about so many other things, but the most exciting thing that perhaps actually would excite everybody who's even watching this right now is what you have done at Karpana Desert in Skardu. Tell us about what we really want to know from you. Tell us about that dream called the Glamp Pakistan.
Basically, all along my corporate life, there was another life that I was living, and that was life in the wild. So photography, crazy person. So I got my first DSLR, and I think around in 2007, and then I couldn't stop myself.
So it was your camera that took you to the mountains?
It was my camera which took me to every corner of the country. And because it was the lens, it has a different perspective to see things which you would not see otherwise. So I kept having my own perspective about every landscape, every story I came across, every culture I saw, every household I went to, from all corners.
And if I'm correct, you first started photography on your iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I first started my photography on my father's film camera.
And how long ago was that?
I was 10 years old at that time.
Wow.
So the photography also comes from my dad. He was into cameras and everything, and it used to fascinate me. So the root comes from there. And but when I had resources and I got the DSLR and I got hooked to this experience of looking at everything from a very different angle, which has not been seen before. So I have around now more than 10-12 years in it. I have more than 10 terabytes of Pakistan with me. So I have all the seasons of different landscapes, how nature molds into one to the other season. And
so
how
why
it happens.
Skardu?
Basically, when I went out and I saw the whole country and everything was happening around me, and when I was about to leave the corporate, so I spoke to myself that what can I do the best? What am I made now to do? So all the experience of brand management, of brand activation, my photography, my skills with the wildlife, with the photography, with the content creation that I do, all clubbed into this idea of getting, a bit of glam in the outdoors and give access to people who cannot rough out, which I could, but I knew that people around me, because I was part of that circle, who could not do what I used to do.
Yeah.
But whenever I used to go back with pictures and everything, I used to show it to my friends, they used to rule over them and they would want to do that. But when they used to know that there are no loos there, you sleep under the sky, and you have wild animals around you. So they used to get scared about it, and they were like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
So at that time, I promised myself that I will make something for them to
where they can also come and enjoy this experience,
the whole experience,
and have those creature comforts.
Yeah. So basically, glamping started not from Sagardu; it started from Deosai. So in 2017, I got this opportunity of setting up the camp at Deosai. So Deosai is like 14,000 feet above the sea level. And before us, nobody could actually stay a night in Deosai. It was very, very, very tough. So in 2017, when we set up our first glamp there, it made from a 6-month-old to a 70-year-old person have a comfortable night just along the Bada Pani, the source of Indus.
Wow.
And have that experience of brown bear around you, and golden marmots and golden eagles flying over you, and the Siberian migration, all you could experience, and that connect with nature, that solitude, that silence, that water, that source of energy from the sun. That experience changed a lot of people in front of me, and that gave me such a power, such a heart, and I could not absorb that in me, that how the hell a small little step could make such a difference in so many people's lives, that now they are very different than what they came to me like. And when they went out of the camp, they were different people. And I started getting reviews and connects from all over the world.
It was fabulous.
It was the best.
It was the best. Warmest. I want to pay my flight.
We're going to be back.
Yes, we are too bad. Brownie. The desert.
The night sky.
Night sky. Oh my God, yes.
Treehouse. Treehouse for sure.
Hot water.
And Fahad, your Glamp site, it's because you're in Deosai, it's also a protected park.
Yeah.
Since you are you're a nature lover, and you're a photographer, you're a very creative person, but your Glamp Pakistan is very eco-friendly.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are,
and I think that is the best thing that somebody like me really likes about your business model, that it's very
we are
eco-friendly.
self-sustaining. We have almost no footprint on the environment that we go to.
Wow.
And we are solar powered. We have our own water cleaning system. We have everything made out of green wood. We don't burn out jungles. We don't do that. Everything is powered through solar. And what we do is that even in our national parks, if you throw garbage, nobody would come and find you. But if you throw garbage at my site, you're in for trouble.
So Fahad, in a very short time, you've been able to get a lot of attention, and especially from not just हमारे local tourists जो हैं, but हमारे जो international tourists आ रहे हैं पाकिस्तान के अंदर. I believe I've seen you being covered by some of the top vloggers who have been coming to Pakistan, and they have even sort of filmed you and made documentaries and whatnot. I think there's something on Netflix coming very soon as well. How do you feel about that? And it's only been like 2017, right?
Yeah, it's pretty humbling experience because when you live your dream and when it becomes a reality,
great things happen.
Great things happen, man. And the sort of inertia nature gives you, it backs you up. So I can't be more thankful to good Lord that I got there somehow with the support of everybody around me and His blessings. But it feels just so right that I need to focus on the journey I started, and that journey's main objective is to get the perception right. We are not like what we are being perceived by the world, and we are not bakshus of the world. We are not. We know who we are, and if we go back to our roots, we can change the world. So that's one of the most humble of an effort that I can put in.
Wow.
And leave a legacy on that. Yeah. That and all these vloggers that they come in, they change as well. Their perspective, and Alhamdulillah, their perspectives have changed a lot, drastically, when they have gone out to see our country and be there on ground.
I've even heard there was a lady who came and she was filming you, and while she was filming you, she was in tears. Is that a true story, Fahad?
Yeah, it was just sometimes you make connections, and those connections are really humbling experiences.
Wow.
And somebody coming from 7 seas apart and connecting with you on a same frequency if you can be at, it's just magical.
Hello. Your name?
My name is Fahad Mahmood. I run this glamping site here in Singapore. This is our first glamping site in Pakistan, and it was not introduced, the glamping in Pakistan. We have it all over the world. So I thought, why not?
Yeah.
Pakistan.
This is great.
Yeah. I'll show you around the camps.
Great. Let's go. I am inside, not quite a tent, but the glamping house here. And first of all, it has this amazing panoramic view of the desert and the mountains. And in here is the little bedroom. This is awesome. Look at this. Oops. Look. And this is the bed. And I want to stay.
So Fahad, you've been a trendsetter, whether it be, if we look at entrepreneurship or startups, you have set a trend in ecotourism. A lot of people are now talking about what you do. You and your wife are even setting a trend as far as education is concerned, because I would like to hear something from you around that. How do you manage sitting in Skardu and you have 2 kids, mashallah?
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how are you managing, and what's your thought process?
We both, me and my wife, we've always had this thought of homeschooling our kids, and till first 7 years we believe that child's personality needs to be worked upon rather than any other learning format. So what we want to do, and the best thing for a child can be done by their parents, and not to be outsourced. You can't outsource your child.
Yeah.
So that's what we had in our mind. I'm sorry if it, sort of a weird statement.
No, that's that's your story. So homeschooling.
Yeah, homeschooling.
Homeschooling.
So my wife took that challenge.
Yeah.
We both spoke about it, and she took that challenge.
Yeah.
And
I know a few people in my circles who are doing the same, and वो एकदम से जब वो किसी को बताते हैं, so people just go like that, because you need to again have a lot of belief in homeschooling and what you are doing, because it's education. It's you're putting almost at risk the future of your child. हम लोग तो ऐसे ही सोचते हैं, but times are changing. The world is changing. I truly firmly believe that what you are doing, it does make a lot of sense.
Basically, you're right. Times are changing. We need more experiential learning rather than being in a classroom. And what I believe is that being with nature, it taught me so much that I want to have to give my child that experience, especially the boy that I have. He's now 3.5. And
you never know. Maybe your daughter, he goes into corporate, and your daughter takes over and runs Glamp one day.
We don't intend to put them onto any sort of strict path or anything. They will do what they want to do. So for 7 years of their lives are ours. After that, they are free to do whatever they want to do.
Wow.
Wants to go to school, he'll go to school. If he wants to not go to school, go to some music academy or a sports academy, or become a mechanic or a chef or whatever.
Your son is 3 years old. Apart from that, he's studying English, maths, Urdu, and all the other subjects. But he's also studying music.
Yes, he as I'm a percussionist myself. So he loves percussions. So he's hooked on to percussions these days. He's a freehand percussion.
Yes, for a 3-year-old, I think he's learning a lot more.
Yeah, and he's a shepherd.
Oh, wow.
We have a flock of sheep back in Sakardu, and he has his own sheepdog.
Yeah.
So he goes for grazing in the daytime.
Wow.
So he learns so much. He knows more stars than any normal regular child would know about. He can tell you about different constellations and all the planets and everything. He's just 3 and he could point them out because we have stars there.
Fahad, out of all the other things that you're doing, but I think something that really moves me is knowing the kind of experience you are, mashallah, giving your children. Because हम तो शहरों में मेरा जब टाइम था when I was growing up, छोटा था, उस वक़्त दुनिया थोड़ी सी या पाकिस्तान में हालात थोड़े फ़र्क थे, तो साइकिल पे हम दोस्तों के घर आगे पीछे निकल जाते थे. अब तो घर से दोस्तों के घर जाना तो क्या, आप बच्चों को साइकिल पे बाहर सड़क पे नहीं निकलने देते. Times have changed. और मैं भी बहुत सोचता हूँ इन चीज़ों के बारे में, because I have kids as well, कि whether it's the right experience I'm offering them in life. Is that it? Just a house, an iPad, or a TV, or whatnot, or some game that they're playing? But your real experience है. I actually, as a parent, feel that आजकल बहुत ज़्यादा वो एक gap है और missing link है, and you sort of have bridged it, and what you're doing, it's mashallah, it's beautiful.
I think everybody can do this. It's not necessary to go up the mountains to do that.
Yeah.
I think everybody has their own story, so you should have your own paths towards it. But definitely children need to be out. They need to see the
and
sky,
experience this world, the way it is,
to experience
nature,
the soil. They need to experience the birds, the animals, because that's what is that what makes our world. Our world is not made by iPhones and Androids and gaming and all these unnatural.
Not that they're bad, but
it's
just getting lost in them.
It's just that your ecology, your ecosystem of your kid can't revolve around just them.
Yeah.
So they need to have the contrast. They need to understand the contrast, that what this is and what that is.
Fahad, before we end the show, I would really want you to leave our audiences with some inspiring message. What would that be?
I think more than anything, what you need to do is that your inward needs to become your outward, and you need to find your inward. Baba Bulle Shah कहंदा सी पज वड़दा है मंदिर मसीते कदी मन अपने च वड़िया ही नहीं. That is the reality of life. There is nothing out there. Everything starts from within. So if you sort yourself out, you have sorted your life out. So rather than going out to search for yourself, you need to go inside, dig inside to search for yourself. And once you find that and you come in terms with yourself, then I think you know your path. Then everything becomes clear. So all those people who are trying to figure out their path in life, leave that, figure yourself out first.
Wow.
Then everything will be fine.
Well, Fahad, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
taking time out and coming here for ACCA's Fireside Chat. It has been absolutely great and an honor
My
to
pleasure.
have you here with us. Thank you so much.
Best of luck to you guys and ACCA.
Fahad is the best host. I thought we had experienced all the hospitality, kindness and beauty of Pakistan, and then he doubled it.